So I literally had to re-record this joint because in the first video, for some reason, I just got done eating chocolate cookies and milk, and I ended up with chocolate on my eye, like right here. Like I don't know how a little bit of chocolate ended up there, so I had to re-record it. Anyway, let's do a part two to this video. If you're a witch and we've been hurt, we've been done wrong, right? Just by society in general. I wanted to come and educate you guys on the reason why they have such a problem with witches and why we are always dealing with the evil eye being pointed at us. And it's always some kind of bullying campaign against us. I'm going to tell you guys why. One word: the paranormal. Well, that's two words. Paranormal. I realized it sitting here watching the new Poltergeist, not the old one, the original one, even though I have that one too. I was sitting here watching the new Poltergeist and it dawned on me. That is the reason why they have such hatred and visceral for witches is paranormal, right? They can sit up here and try to pretend as though they don't care. They can sit up here and try to distract and act like they don't care about the paranormal, but in reality, they do. They spend billions of dollars trying to figure out the paranormal, right? They're researching, they're contracting out and hiring people to do paranormal research all the time. Witches are not paranormal researchers, even though we do studying, you know what I'm saying, for us to know, for our wisdom, we learn certain things, but witches are not paranormal researchers. We are paranormal experts. That's a fact, okay? We are the paranormal experts. They don't like us because of that. Because they are constantly having all of these experiences that they don't talk about. They don't want to talk about it. They cover it up. They need our help. They really do. They need our expertise, but they would rather go around acting like and pretend that it doesn't exist when it does, right? Like, so for example, everywhere is haunted. There's not one area of this world that is not haunted with spirits. Not one. They're all over the place. They move into these new houses, trailers, cars, apartments, wherever it is that they live. And they're just constantly being spooked by spirits, constantly being spooked by this paranormal activity. And it scares them. Witches were born with a natural ability to not be afraid of the paranormal and even to be invincible to it. Even if we are a medium, it is really, really like literally like you would have to be the most weakest, dumbest witch in the world to not be able to deal with malevolent spirits, okay? Especially with all the freaking tools and all of the abundance of salt throughout the world. Witches can move in to the most haunted place, the most haunted mansion, and slay that shit. Like other people can move into a haunted location and literally they'll be freaking in a mental institution by the time they're done. They'll literally be half dead and crazy. Witches will go in there and they will slay that shit and we will freaking survive and flourish. We'll go in there and within months we will clean out what's not supposed to be there and we will even collect what collect things while we're there, as well as find lost treasure while we're there. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know us witches are some spooky yuki people. Why do they go to these paranormal people, to get assistance, but they don't want to say they're witches? Okay, maybe they're not witches. They need witches with what they don't want to pay us. They don't want to pay us. Like I can't go and put witch on my resume. I can't do that. Trust me. Trust me. I've thought about doing it just for shits and giggles, just to see what would happen. You can't say that you're a witch. You can't say it. You can't say, hey, I'm looking for a part time job. I've been running a spiritual business. Oh, what do you do? I'm a witch. Uh, you can't do that. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? And it's so ridiculous because it's time for them to just accept us, especially those of us that specialize in healing and we have a reputation for being helpful to people, right? Like, it just, it's ridiculous. Instead, they have all this hatred for us because literally, like, they will be playing around with Ouija boards and be playing around with conjure and stuff and spirit, and they'll throw everything else. They will throw everything at a witch, and they're like, well, why didn't this work on her? Why wasn't I able to destroy this witch? Because she's a witch or he's a witch. You can't just, what are you doing? They play around with it. But then when it comes to paranormal research, right? It's nothing wrong with doing research. Research is important. But there are some things that you need to leave up to the witches. They have a serious problem with us and it creates jealousy. Like, why don't you let us do our job? They don't want to let us do our job. It's ridiculous. So if you're a witch and that's why you've been experiencing all that hate, that's the number one reason. You are a natural born paranormal expert and they got a problem with that because they're spooked and scared. Okay? All right. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Blessings. Bye.